Okay, I want to start off by giving all praises to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakah Kwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, who teacheth the Bible in 100% truth. And shalom to the hopeful elect of the 12 tribes of Israel, starting with the 144,000, consisting of the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans in the land of North, Central, and South America, as well as the speckled bird, the Israelite foreigners living amongst the other nations who look like the other nations, yet their seed go back to the seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Shalom to you. So today I'm looking at the situation in Babylon the Great, which is America, known in the Bible as Babylon the Great. And I was sent two videos. One is redacted from I think 3 days ago. This is Border Patrol agent. It says here we are releasing, I'm not going to read that word there, into the US. For the algorithm, I'm going to try to avoid certain words. And the same person sent me this particular video here, total collapse ahead. You must prepare for what's coming in 2024. So, this all goes in line with biblical prophecy. You might have seen these videos yourself, and like I say, I've just sent them and I've just watched and managed to go through them and see what's being said. And all this is going in line with biblical prophecy. We keep warning you of two major events. One is World War III, and another is the MOTB, the implementation. Revelation chapter 13, I think it's 16 on down, speaks of the MOTB, which is an acronym for what's written in those particular passages. And there's going to be a huge change to the worldwide monetary system, and everybody's going to be told in order to take part in this worldwide monetary system, in order to buy and sell, you're going to need this particular device placed under your skin. And so that is the fulfillment of the MOTB. But then with that particular prophecy, you have another number of other prophecies that are spoken of, or events and precepts which are prophetical, spoken of, which coincide with that particular event. This is all known as the time of tribulation. This is 2024, the hopeful year of Jacob's trouble. So, the true men of the Most High believe that by the end of the year, we will be in full swing of Jacob's trouble, which is a great time of tribulation to face the whole world. And so with that, again, all these events, the things that are going to be taken on around the world at this time are spoken of in the scriptures. Now it starts off here looking at Psalm 64. It says here, Psalm 64:1, it says, "Hear my voice, O power, in my prayer, preserve my life from fear of the enemy." This is King David. This is a psalm written by King David, basically. And verse 2 says, "Hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity." It says, "Who whet their tongues like a sword, and bend their bows to shoot their arrows, even bitter words, that they may shoot in secret at the perfect. Suddenly do they shoot at him, and fear not." So, when you can go on to read here, it says, "They encourage themselves in an evil matter. They commune of laying snares, laying traps privately." This is, "They say, who shall see them? They search out iniquities. They accomplish a diligent search, both the inward thought of every one of them, and the heart is deep." So this is talking about people who are running society today, known as the wicked. In other parts of the scriptures, the wicked are also known as the Edomites, and we're living under the Edomite captivity, the Edomite rule. And so that the world, even though you have many different nations out there, they all come under the control of the Edomite nation through the beast system, which is EU and the NATO. It's got political, we've got and for example, like an economic part to this beast system. And so that economic part is the part that's going to change very soon. And so, when you look at it on a worldly level, you if you assume that these changes are going to take place, surely somebody has to sit down and discuss these changes. And we're moving into the fourth industrial revolution, a AI revolution, if you like, an AI industry, an AI artificial intelligence industrial revolution. And so people are sitting down discussing these things, and then they come up with these plans, and then they set them forth. And so people watch the news and they wait for these things to happen. So these things are discussed. Now, the discussion that takes place is a conspiracy, because people are sitting down, they're deciding what to do, and then they go ahead with it. And people out there, ourselves, for example, the general public, they don't really know who these particular people are, or who's making these decisions. And so things are done in like a conspiracy all the time. Yet you have people out there that then say, well, they go against that. They don't believe in this thing. They say that this is what you're speaking of is a conspiracy theory. But the scripture is talking about people, and conspiracy theories, and putting them into actual practice so they become facts. It says, hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity, who whet their tongues like a sword, who bend their bows to shoot their arrows, even bitter words. So these arrows come in the form of bitter words, that they may shoot in secret at the perfect. And the perfect represents the Israelites. Suddenly do they shoot at him and fear not. So that you have people, powers that be, spoken of in the Bible, and it's showing you that these Edomites, the wicked, they have secret councils, and they have secret meetings, and then they come up with ways to shoot at the perfect, and they come out and do that, and they do it with bitter words. So they do it through their policies, through their agendas, through the beast system. So like I say, and there's people out there, for example, you got people who follow Christianity, who are totally asleep. They go to a Christian church, they don't read the Bible, they don't study it. They just want to live that Christian life, which involves prosperity, getting a good job, getting a good wife, and surviving in this particular kingdom. And the thing is, these are the type of people that will then go and vote. And so then if you question them on why are they voting, they believe in the system, but then you tell them that certain things, the system is manipulated and controlled and operated in order to keep you suppressed. They don't believe it. They tell you that that's a conspiracy theory. And so here it is now, then they label you as a so-called crazy person, because they're the clever person who doesn't believe in that so-called conspiracy theory. He's got a good job, and he's got a so-called decent wife, or at least it looks like that on the front of it. We know behind the scenes a lot of other nonsense goes on, and things aren't always what they seem. So you've got this situation going on where, like I say, some of the population believe in, their eyes are open to certain situations that are going on. We read the scriptures. If you're a Christian and you're supposed to be following the Bible, but you're voting, we pull up the word conspiracy theorist. But haven't you read the scriptures? Because the scriptures is telling you that there are people who are out here to shoot at you. It says that they may shoot in secret at the perfect, but they can't see it. So this shows you that there's a disconnect with the mentality of people from Christianity, because they go to church to so-called worship the Most High, and which His words are in the Bible, and they go and live their life. They get a presentable wife, a presentable job, and then they go to vote. Then you tell them that there's no point voting, it's all rigged, and then they call you conspiracy theorist. But haven't you read the scriptures? And so this is quite important, because what's coming up when it comes to the implementation of the MOTB, all doubts over the phrase conspiracy theorist is going to go out the window. People are going to know. See, you have at the minute these people called the New World Order, and they work in the background. They consist of banking elites and other high rolling elitist people. We've got our usual names that we know of, the sort of the ones that are spoken of on social media quite a lot. But then you have other people also in the background that work with this particular group of people, and these are the, if you like, the world elites, the banking elites, the world elites, and these are the people that are setting the agendas of the New World Order. The New World Order covers the whole world, and when they implement the MOTB, there's no need for them to be a secret society anymore. See, up until now, this New World Order, they want to build their order. So what they've done is they've built up, their group of people. This is over the course of many years. They've built up, groups of people, and sent these people out into various places in the world, and they infiltrate companies, governments, and so eventually now this New World Order has control. This secret society has control in many parts of the world, especially Babylon the Great, America, which is where the mentality and the thinking is pushed from. And so up until now they've been a secret society, and they've built their network. They know their eventual plan is total control, one world order, the MOTB, which is what you see in these movies. When you see movies in the future, you always see these depressing future societies where things are in ruins, people under total control and total order. So this is their goal, and up until now they wanted to keep themselves as a so-called secret society in order to build themselves. But you see, now they're at a point where they're about to present everything to the world. Take this MOTB, take this thing under your skin, we have total control. There won't be no need for so much policing, because if you commit a crime and they catch you on camera and they know who you are, facial recognition, they turn off your chip, what the device that's under your skin, what you need in order to buy or sell the MOTB, they turn it off, and all of a sudden you can't survive. You could go somewhere and steal something worth £10,000. You're running down the street, they turn off your chip. Next thing you know, what are you going to do? You might as well walk back and return that item, because you can't do nothing with it. You can't sell it, you can't buy, you can't sell. So they've got this future coming, and when it gets, this is what I don't think that people always seem to gather in their minds, and when it gets to that point where they implement the MOTB, they can afford, the cat's out of the bag, they can afford to tell you, we're the New World Order, you're under our control. If you don't like it, don't take this device under your skin. You can't buy or sell, you're not part of society. This is when panic sets in. This is when famine sets in. This is when huge problems around the world, because there are people who know this truth who are not going to take this be part of the MOTB. But there are also people out there that aren't part of this truth, but that can see what's happening in society, and they don't want to be part of it. Watching through those two particular videos that I just presented at the beginning, when I was watching the redacted one, I can't remember the guy's, is it Clayton or Clinton or Clayton, the presenter. He was listening to the guest, and they were going through various bits of information, and towards the end he started saying, oh, people have got to wake up, people have got to wake up. Don't worry about waking up, because when they make that MOTB mandatory, the whole world's going to wake up. Everybody's going to know this is some form of major totalitarian control. You want me to take this device under my skin in order for me to be part of society, but people are going to take it because it comes down to money, comes down to their daily lives, their daily routine. A lot of people out there only just really care about themselves, and how they're what's going on with their lives. Can I get paid? Can I feed my kids? And can I keep my wife happy? And that's all they're sort of operating within. So when it gets made mandatory, the MOTB, the game's going to be up. All this talk of conspiracy theory is going to go out the window. We're going to say, well, there you are. All this time, there are even false prophets. There are even prophets that supposedly speak, on behalf of the children of Israel. There are prophets out there that are telling you that the MOTB is not that particular device. It's something else. So even those prophets, will call, I'm not part of GMS, but they'll call, for example, the men of GMS, I teach the same as GMS, they'll call the men of GMS conspiracy theorists. Well, it's all going to go out the window when the MOTB gets made mandatory. That's what I don't think people always gather in their mind. When the MOTB gets made mandatory, the New World Order lay it out on the table. They lay it on a plate. They say, well, yeah, we are the New World Order, and you got to take this device to be part of society. And if you don't, that's your tough luck. You can't buy, you can't sell, you can't eat, you can't drink. So make your choice. A lot of people are going to know this is a shiesty move. That's the only way I can phrase it. It's what you call a shiesty move or shiesty maneuver, because you've put me in a situation where I've only got one choice. You're telling me I've got a choice, but really I've only got one choice. And so a lot of people are going to take it anyway, just to be part of society, because they don't believe in the Most High. They don't believe there's a Most High coming back. They know it's going to be a totalitarian rule, and they're just going to go with it so they can get their money and they can continue with the normal, average, boring lives. So, like I say, at the minute, you've got all these people that'll fight against you, call you conspiracy theorists, even false prophets. But when the MOTB gets made mandatory, all that talk's going to go out the window. It's going to be playing upon tables. All that talk about conspiracy theory is going to become facts. You're going to have, and it's going to happen all over the world. So that's when people are really going to know, wow, they're hitting us. You got to think of the situation that happened in 2020 and 2021. That thing that took over the world, that I can't really mention by name. And when you look at it, they, before that, we knew, that governments worked together, but it wasn't so obvious. And then the situation came along in 2020, 2021, and it took over the world. And all of a sudden, we could see on the news, it was becoming obvious that these governments are working off the same song sheet. They've all been given the orders, the memo, and they've been told what to say, and they're all coming out with the same message. And we could all see through it. We could all see that there were a lot of lies and a lot of things didn't make sense. And now it's coming and now it's gone. And that was the practice run. And the MOTB is going to be the same. So a lot of people are going to look at it and they're going to say, well, I don't know. I don't think this is really right. It seems, very coincidental. Maybe these conspiracy theory people are right, but I'm going to have to take it anyway because I want to get paid. So a lot of people are going to fall into that trap. And so at that point, there's going to be no fighting against it. You're going to stand up and speak. This is, you look at the things we keep talking about. They're trying to cut down freedom of speech, which goes back down to cutting down the truth, which goes back down to banning the Bible. So we can't tell you, we can't warn you of this. And they, they want you to be all inclusive. So you can't speak against people of, these transformers, these alphabet people. You can't speak against them, or it's a punishable offense now. So, and reading the Bible, they're pushing it towards the direction of making that a punishable offense. So this is all to close down the truth that we give you in order for them to hit you with the plan that they're about to hit you with. And when it comes to the MOTB, like I keep saying, the New World Order can tell you we are the New World Order and this is our MOTB and we are putting you under our control. If you want to speak up against it, we turn off your chip. So all of a sudden, all these people you have on YouTube, on social media, all around the world, coming up, there's all these truthers out there that are coming up with their little bits of information. They're all going to get shut down because you say anything against the government, against the society, against whatever, against these alphabets, these alphabet people, they're just going to shut you down. So you won't be able to say anything. You couldn't even go onto YouTube and watch some nonsense video. Some woman trying to play football, and you can't even leave a dumb comment taking the piss out of her, basically. And they'll ban you. They'll know who you are. They'll say, "Bang, we'll ban you from this," and then we've turned off your chip for 24 hours. You can't buy nothing. Do it again. We'll turn it off for a week. So, they want to shut down the truth. That's obvious. They want to ban the Bible. They want to stop us speaking this truth to warn you. And all these things are coming together at the same time. And when the MOTB gets made mandatory, the whole world will know of the New World Order. They will know that they're under one government rule, one world government rule. It'll be obvious. It'll be the chip. It doesn't just go into buying and selling. It goes into going across borders. And you won't need paperwork. You won't need passports. They'll just have everything all in your device, under your skin. So to be part of the world, you're gonna have to know what's going on in the world, and they're gonna make it clear that this is what we're doing, because it's going to be clear by the things that they're doing. You see, over time, when you look at it, these secret society, Illuminati, these Masons, these New World Order, if you like, banking elites, these people, they've been a secret, and they've managed to keep the lid on it. And now, for example, with the internet, information gets out there, they're becoming more and more known. But now we're in, since 2020, you got people like Klaus Schwab making statements, all these bold statements. So they're heading in the direction of unveiling themselves. And when they unveil themselves, if you don't like it, don't take the device, or they turn off your device, and that's you done. You're finished. So people are gonna accept it. They're gonna take it. They're gonna know it's not right. They're gonna go, oh, those conspiracy theories, people that we were, disrespecting, they were right. But it's going to be too late. You go to Jeremiah 49:10. It says, "But I have made Esau bare. I have uncovered his secret places." So what we just read of in Psalm 64, King David was talking about the wicked shooting at the perfect from secret places. But it's Jeremiah 49:10, giving you future prophecy that we're seeing now. It says, "But I have made Esau bare. I've uncovered his secret places, and he shall not be able to hide himself. His seed is spoiled, and his brethren, and his neighbors, and he is not." So, like, for example, when you watch The Redacted, and Clayton, and he's going, people have got to wake up. We got to. You could say that he's a Jake, but he looks like an Edomite. He sees himself as an Edomite, and he's living off that Edomite mentality. So he's like them other Edomites in America, and they're going to say, we need to wake up, we need to do this. We're seeing that, with the problem with the border. The 25 states versus 25 states. We're seeing people rising up against these immigrants in America. So it says here, talk about the wicked Esau and his ruling elites, the secret ones, the New World Order ones. It says his seed is spoiled, and his brethren and his neighbors, and he is not. Because all the wickedness that they're doing is affecting Americans, these Edomites, but it's not going to affect the Edomites that are a part of the ruling class, and they're discovering this. This is what they're starting to discover. So you watch, for example, I'm just using his as an example, but you see it all over the place. People, Americans, their eyes are popping open. They're like, what the hell's going on with this border? And the information that's coming out, this is Esau being made bare, that what he's actually doing, because there's they're talking of, for example, how when Biden when Trump was in, the border was tight, and as soon as Biden's come in, they've literally let it open, and there's all these obviously various reasons behind it. These two videos that I'm going to put the link up for, they go into those, and so we're heading into a time of chaos. I don't know who's going to come in next. Trump should come in really next. Biden, something could happen. America could go into world war, and that could stop the election taking place. That could stop the change of presidency taking place. So that could cause uproar. But we know we're heading towards civil war, especially with the situation with the border crisis in America. And so people are realizing, they're starting to realize, just like 9/11, they're starting to realize, oh, you're actually doing this on purpose. You're actually creating chaos. And the reason why they want to create the chaos is to bring the order out of it. That's what these banking elites do. They use that Roman philosophy of order out of chaos. And so people, when 9/11 happened, for example, everybody on the day it happened, 9/11, everybody thought it was just an event, just like a random act. And they were like, wow, look what's happened. Slowly, as the information came out, people started to see the evidence and realize, oh, wow, this is a setup. And then those people that were blinded to the setup, called the people who were awake to the setup, conspiracy theorists. See, 20 years later, the Most High has made Esau bare. People know what Esau's about. They know how you do these things now. The prophets have been out here warning you, and we've been breaking it down and showing you. So now it's actually happening in real time. People are witnessing it and they're going, wow, that's a setup. This is a setup. This maneuver over here is a setup. The situation with Ukraine is a setup. Even in the Middle East, that's the small hats. These are Edomites. Esau being made bare. He says, I have uncovered his secret places, and he shall not be able to hide himself. His seed is spoiled, and his brethren, and his neighbors, and he is not. So these people are waking up to it. And, eventually it's going to bring, problems. Now, like I say, they've got this situation with order out of chaos. I typed in order from chaos, and I was going to kind of go through and just dig something out, and I came across one piece of information, and I thought I'd just stick with this. It says here, do ADHD people thrive in chaos? Now, remember 2020, 2021, they got everybody stuck at home, locked indoors. Since then, people have come out, and everybody notices that mental health is slightly, is risen within people. The normal everyday, the normal everyday doing of lives. People can't handle certain situations anymore because they weren't used to it during the lockdown. And one thing that everybody that has a smartphone is suffering is attention deficit order, ADHD, attention deficit disorder, or something like that. I can't really remember what it's actually standing for, but we all suffer that through the iPhone. You may not have ever been diagnosed that, and you may not have had that throughout your life, but once you get given an iPhone and information keeps coming at you, there's so much information to check this, check the weather, check my thing, check my messages, check my check YouTube, check the subscriptions, check my emails. So what it's done is it's created a lack of attention in people in general. And as much as we're in the truth, the fact that I have a smartphone, I suffer that. It's like you could see someone smoking a cigarette, and you can say, well, you shouldn't smoke that cigarette, it's bad for you. And that person will say, well, there's nothing wrong with me, I'm still standing, I'm smoking, there's nothing wrong with me. And then the next day you see that person, day two, and say the same again. You say, look, you shouldn't smoke that cigarette, and he says, yeah, well, I'm still standing here, everything looks fine. And so you're telling him, look, you could smoke for 5 years, 10 years, and you could look fine on the outside, but on the inside you're doing damage. So eventually you'll feel it, and you'll notice that on the outside, and you might even die from it or catch some disease. And it's the same thing with the iPhone. So you don't have problems with your attention span, and then you give someone an iPhone, and then all of a sudden you shorten the connections in the brain. They shorten, they become sharper and shorter. So eventually now, when you take the phone away, you don't know what to do with yourself, because you're just, the attention, you just want to, someone says, sit down, calm down, chill out, relax. You can't do it. Like you want to grab your phone, pick it up. Someone says something to you, say, no, I can leave my phone there. So you leave it there. As soon as the person goes out the room, you pick up the phone again. Oh, has anyone called? Has anyone sent me a message? So we're all suffering from it. This process we went through in 2020 and 2021 is developing. It's also developing mental health problems on people. They're bringing chaos in America and around the world through the civil war, through opening the borders, through bringing down the financial system, which is going to crash very soon. See, that's when it all totally goes haywire. They're going to keep bringing in these immigrants into America. The crime rate is going to keep going up. All sorts of things are going to keep happening, and eventually the money system crashes. And when that crashes, then you're going to have a huge panic, and then they're going to implement the MOTB. When they implement the MOTB, some people aren't going to go with it, some people are going to go with it, and you're just going to end up with a total breakdown in society. The elites, look at the people like the ants and pretty much think, well, you lot fight it out, you work it out, and when the dust settles, we'll introduce this MOTB system, we'll have total control. Even in that time, you got to think that a lot of police, they might quit the force because they don't want to take the MOTB, they don't want to be part of the system. So you have lack of police force. But the banking elites, these elites, they won't care, because once let the chaos develop, let the fighting, let the civil war ensue, let it all erupt, and we'll be slightly less on population. We'll depopulize it. They'll let them kill each other like the Great Purge. And when the dust settles, if you don't play ball with our society, we just turn off your device, and we won't need the police. Won't necessarily need such a huge police force. But that's where it's all heading. But so as everything's coming out of this chaos that's going to be brought about in America and around the world, and they're going to eventually offer you control, order from chaos. It's a Roman philosophy. It says the basic social psychological process employed by them to deal with the problem of ADHD is identified as the double life. This process became the core category around the theory was developed. So the theory demonstrates that adults with ADHD live in a state of chaos, category 1, while thriving for control, category 2. And this is what it is. So everyone's out here with a slight bit of ADHD, short-tempered, want a quick response. People shooting up fast food joints because they don't get their chicken burger quick enough. That's the type of society we live in, and it's just getting worse and worse every day. There's more and more demons. The demons on the people are growing stronger. We're getting towards that time. We're in a time where Yahweh Shai is bringing division to the world, and that's on a social level, on a ground level. When you're meeting people on a day-to-day basis, it's also on a governmental level. But ultimately, when it really develops into Jacob's trouble, when you see this border problem increase, civil war that start to rise up, you see the economic crash, and then we're really then into the full swing of Jacob's trouble. The MOTB gets made mandatory at some point along the process. People are going to be living, they talk about the internet going down, I don't know, but the internet or if not the internet, a definite restriction online, like I said, through stopping the word going out, through people speaking. So there's definitely going to be a huge restriction on the internet within that period of change, which is all coming very soon. And adults, especially in America, are going to have attention problems with their attention span, but they're also going to be looking to survive, striving for control. They're going to be living in a state of chaos, panicking, and all people are really going to want to do is strive for that control. We all live in that. You live your day-to-day life like that. If you get told in 1 week, you get told that your wife's leaving you, or you've lost your job, and I don't know, something else happens, you crash your car, all in 1 week, then you're losing control. Now you're still alive, you're still able to work, you're still able to go and meet a woman, you're still able to go and buy a car and drive it. But just by taking those 3 things away from you, you would lose control, and then you go into a state of chaos, and all you're trying to do is get back to a state of control. And while you're in the state of control, you're trying to avoid the chaos. That's why you're trying to keep everything within control. That's why you wake up in the morning, You decide how your day's going to go. I need to get this done. I need to get that done. I need to do this. This is how we live our lives. It's a normal human balance. So order out of chaos is not just a theory. It's something that's will play on the mind of people, and that's why eventually they'll just go and take the MOTB. They'll think, I'll have to just to restore some sort of control. And people will say, yeah, but you take that, you're giving the control to the government, and they're going to go, yeah, but with all this chaos going on, not knowing where I'm going to feed the children or pay the mortgage or blah blah blah, I need some sort of control. So people are going to do it. So this is why ultimately it comes back down to you will own nothing and be happy, because you will do these things just to be able to buy and sell, and eventually they'll change it from it won't even be a monetary system. It will be a social credit score system, and you'll be allowed to have this vehicle if you have a certain social credit score, and the vehicle won't be yours. It'll just be given to you, and if your social credit score drops, they'll take that vehicle away and they'll give you a smaller vehicle or a worse vehicle or whatever. It obviously there's scope for development on the side of the MOTB, but I'm not really we don't expect it to go on for too long. Once it gets made mandatory, we're expecting Yahushua to return very quickly. This is Mark chapter 3. If this is Yahushua speaking, if a kingdom be divided against itself, that kingdom cannot stand. And if a house be divided against itself, that house cannot stand. And if Satan rise up against himself and be divided, he cannot stand, but hath an end. And so what's happening, for example, what the elites, they're bringing about in America especially, they're bringing about the division. Call it a conspiracy theory if you like, but they're opening the borders, they're creating a problem. Then you had a 25 states versus 25 states situation, and people, it's starting to become clear that the American government are clearly allowing this problem to develop. They're trying to create the situation where the house of Satan, America if you like, is divided against itself, and they want to bring that chaos to then bring the order. The order is the MOTB. But the problem is, like I always use the phrase, this time these Edomites are taking it one step too far, because they done situations like 9/11, like Iraq, like Afghanistan, and they do these scenarios, Ukraine, and what they do is they do these scenarios where they lie, they manipulate, they create a problem, they go in to clean up the mess with the military, and then they take over. And this is what kind of people are sick of, the bullying. And but this time it's going to happen on the shores of America. And so they've had civil war in the past, but this one is just going to be a step too far, because what they're doing is they're dividing the world as well as America. They're shutting off they're trying to shut down the word, trying to categorize people who are speaking the truth into conspiracy theorists category, and then they've got everybody else that will go along with the flow. Once they introduce the MOTB, those people who the go along to get along people who believe we're conspiracy theorists, they'll just take it. But then like I say, some people's eyes will open at that point, and they'll won't know what to do. Some people's eyes will open and they'll say, well, I'll take it, but I don't like it. And ultimately it's just going to cause this is one step too far. They got away with 9/11, for example, and people weren't rising up for the atrocities or for the conspiracy theories that were done in 9/11. Nobody's gone on rampages or gone out there with guns to defend the rights of the people of 9/11. But many people out there know that it's quite obvious a so-called conspiracy theory. When it comes to the MOTB, people are already tuned in. They're already saying, well, something's not right here. And when it comes, it's going to be known. This is a new world order. You just take it or you don't take it. And a lot of people will go with it. But this time it's going to bring, as it says here, bring the end. With the situation with the border, you've also got military men coming from other nations. So when it really kicks off, in Babylon the Great America, you're going to have also a lot of foreign soldiers out there causing havoc. So, it's one step too far. This situation is going to be one step too far. It says, no man can enter into a strong man's house and spoil his goods, except he will first bind the strong man, and then he will spoil his house. So, like I say, these Edomites, these elites in America, for example, they're going to create this chaos to bring the order, but this time it's the order's not going to come. People will go and take the MOTB to get back into society, but society is going to be collapsed, and certain groups of people are not going to allow it to raise back up, and it's going to stay like that and deteriorate until Yahushua comes back. These elites are going to think that they've accomplished their plan, and then they're going to be happy. They're going to think, yeah, we've done it, that's it now. They've only got one choice, and it can only last for a very short time, because then the elect, who will not be taking the device, will have to survive in that short space of time until the return of Yahushua. This is 2 Ezra chapter 15 verse 1 says, behold, speak thou in the ears of thy people the words of prophecy, which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Lord. And so this is Ezra speaking prophecy, the words put into his mouth by the Most High Yahweh. It says, and cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true. So these prophecies are faithful and true. And so, these people out here who tell you that the MOTB is something other than what we tell you it is, the device that goes under your skin to buy and sell, they're telling you something else. That it means that they don't believe that the scriptures are faithful and true. When you read in chapter 13 Revelation, it says no man could buy or sell without the MOTB. And so the MOTB has to be something that you buy or sell with. When these false prophets tell you that the MOTB is for example, spiritual, well, you don't go and buy and sell with spiritual things. The MOTB is a picture of Caesar Borgia. No, the MOTB you can't buy or sell with a picture of Caesar Borgia. So these false prophets who tell you that the MOTB is not a device, a monetary system device, an RFID under your skin, they basically don't believe that the scriptures are faithful and true, or they've been paid to tell a lie. It says, fear not the imaginations against thee, let not the incredulity of them trouble thee that speak against thee. It says, for all the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness. Behold, saith the Most High, I will bring plagues upon the world, the sword, famine, death, and destruction. So these are the things that are coming to the world very soon. It says, for wickedness have exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and the hurtful works are fulfilled. And this mainly comes from this Edomite control and Babylon the Great, and the philosophies and the way of rule that is pushed out from America, from Babylon the Great. It says, therefore saith the Lord, I will hold my tongue no more as touching their wickedness, which they profanely commit, neither will I suffer them in those things in which they wickedly exercise themselves. Behold, the innocent and righteous blood crieth unto me, and the souls of the just complain continually. And therefore saith the Lord, I will surely avenge them, and receive unto me all the innocent blood from among them. It says, behold, my people is led as a flock to the slaughter. I will not suffer them now to dwell in the land of Egypt. Now Egypt means captivity, and so the current day captivity is America, Babylon the Great. And there are Israelites spread amongst the earth, but that is the main number one captivity under the Edomite nation, under the Edomite rule. Now it says here, behold, my people is led as a flock to the slaughter, and this is all speaking of end times. So this is, you could put this towards the MOTB, because the slaughter is taking the MOTB, because once you take the MOTB, there's no way to repent or to make it. If you're in America, Babylon the Great, and you're an Israelite, and you take the MOTB, the Most High Yahweh Bahashim Hawashai is definitely going to burn you alive in that land with everybody else. So that's the slaughter, and people are being led as a flock to the slaughter. And it's through the system. It's through the fact that you try and tell them, there's all these situations are manipulated and controlled. You tell them about the secret council, the New World Order, and they say, no, you're a conspiracy theorist. So what they're doing is they're heading, you're standing there talking to them, and spiritually and physically, eventually they're heading into the slaughter. And they're being led by the Edomites, and then also by these false prophets, because these false prophets that don't warn you of what the MOTB is, they're not giving you any warning, they're not preparing you, they're pretty much leading. You're a false prophet, you have a flock, you don't warn them that the MOTB is the RFID device that goes under the skin. When it gets made mandatory, you're going to have a lot of questions to answer, and you're going to have to throw that phrase conspiracy theorist in the bin, because like I say, at that point it's going to be known there is a new world order, there is a one world government, there is a one world agenda, and you follow it or you don't buy or sell. You don't buy or sell, you don't eat or drink, you don't eat or drink, you don't live. As simple as that. It says, behold, my people is led as a flock to the slaughter. So when they say, you're a conspiracy theorist, either that is one that is being led to the slaughter, or that is one of the leaders to the slaughter of the flock. But ultimately that's where it ends in slaughter. But coming up with these phrases, conspiracy theorists, so on and so forth. It says, I will not suffer them to dwell in the land of Egypt, the land of captivity, which is America. It says, but I will bring them with a mighty hand and a stretched out arm, and smite Egypt with plagues as before, and will destroy all the land thereof. So Egypt was plagued once before, ancient Egypt, and the new Egypt is America, the new captivity. That word Egypt goes back to the word bondage, captivity. So the new Egypt for Israelites is America. This is talking of America. And smite Egypt or America with plagues as before, and will destroy all the land thereof. See, ancient Egypt or Mizraim, the land wasn't completely destroyed, and the proof is you can still see the pyramids there today. But America will be destroyed. It will be totally annihilated and flattened, and turn into a lake of fire, and then eventually burn out and become a desert. It says, Egypt shall mourn, and the foundation of it shall be smitten with the plague and punishment that the Most High shall bring upon it. That they that till the ground shall mourn, for the seeds shall fail through the blasting and hail and fearful constellation. And we're seeing that at the minute. There's problems with the weather system. America's receiving extreme weather conditions in certain places. This is all going towards the it says here the plague and punishment that the Most High shall bring upon it. It says here that fearful constellation, and we know that in April 2024 we have the completion of the solar eclipse in the shape of an X, which started in 2017 and ends in 2024. So I believe that's 7 years, and we have the completion of that X, and we know it marks some sort of judgment. So that's a sign that maybe only some can see, but also these general people, the population, they also see the issues with the weather and the weather systems and what's happening. It says, woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up to fight against another, and swords in their hands. Don't forget, the modern day sword is the gun. This is speaking of civil war in modern day Egypt, which is America. This is for there shall be sedition amongst men. This is speaking up against the government. It says, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. So they're pretty much going to just decide to do what they want to do, And that is when we say that there's going to be a total breakdown in society. What's being described here: a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able, for because of their pride the cities shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbour, but shall destroy their houses with the sword. And you can't destroy a house with a sword, you need a gun. A modern day sword is a gun. And spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and great tribulation. And what's going to bring about famine, a lack of bread, great tribulation, is going to be a removing of the old financial monetary system and an implementation of a new financial monetary system. And the new financial monetary system is the MOTB. And you're going to go to a store, and the only way you're going to be able to buy any goods, any food, is through the RFID microchip, which is going to be placed under the skin to fulfill the MOTB. And this is, that great tribulation, a time of Jacob's trouble, a time that never been seen before. And this is something that's going to happen in America as well as all over the world. But at the minute, concentrating on America, we're seeing the problem with the immigration. The borders are open, people are being let in, soldiers are being let in, and this is preparing that country for civil war. This is what they're doing. They're doing it constructively. They're constructing the idea, and they're bringing it purposely about. The elites, and there are people out there that say, well, you're conspiracy theorists. Why would you say that? It's just a bad government. But whoever comes into power after this term, could be Trump, could be Biden. Either way, the agenda is set. So the things are going to keep moving in the way that the elites want them to. And they're going to keep bringing about this chaos. It could even be here that the fulfillment of Jacob's trouble could be here by the time the election takes place. It says, behold, saith the Most High, I will call together all the kings of the earth to reverence me, which are from the rising of the sun, from the south, from the east, and Libanus, to turn themselves one against another, and repay the things they have done to them. Done to who? Done to the children of Israel. It says here, like as they do yet this day unto my chosen, so will I do also, and recompense their bosom. Thus saith the Lord power. So the members of the elect, it's only going to be the members of the elect that are going to be delivered from America through the time of Jacob's trouble and through the process of the day of the Lord. And certain members of the elect around the world and any other Israelites are going to be left down here to suffer through the scenario and the situation. Those that don't call on Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, and take this word seriously. So those members of the elect, they might take a lot of grief at the minute for pushing this word, or trying to live according to this, to the life that is we're supposed to live. We're pushed away from it. Even when they come to tell you that you've got to take this MOTB in order to buy or sell, that's something that's going against your power, Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai. So it's something you can't do. And only these people will be delivered from the time of Jacob's trouble. These are the chosen. These are the elect. And so these people, they can sit back and just call on the name Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, and pray on the Most High to deliver them. But everybody else is going to suffer. So before I go, I'll leave you with this. This is Proverbs 21:1. It says, the king's heart is in the hand of Yahweh. It doesn't say the Most High, it doesn't say God or Lord, lowercase. It says Lord, all capitals, which refers to the actual name of the Most High. It says the king's heart is in the hand of Yahweh, no one else. It says, as the rivers of water, he turneth it whithersoever he will. So Yahweh controls evil as well as the righteous, the left and the right hand spirits. And he's got spirits on these kings, on these prime ministers, on these presidents, on these leaders, to to fulfill what they're fulfilling. And like I say, you've got the elites in America that are trying to pull a fast one on the population with this border situation. They're creating a crisis. Some people's eyes are open to it, some aren't. And eventually this is going to bring about a huge amount of chaos, a breakdown in society, and they're going to implement this new system, the MOTB. So a lot of people are going to get found out, a lot of false prophets are going to get found out, and there's going to be great tribulation in the land of America. This is all based around the MOTB, and eventually when it gets made mandatory, people aren't going to be able to use the phrase conspiracy theory, because it's going to be a fact, and it's going to be alive and kicking, and it's going to be known to the world that there is a one world government, one world order, and this is the Most High Yahweh, who has the heart of the king, the mind of the king in his hand. He's bringing about this time, this great tribulation, to judge the world, judge the people on the world, apart from the elect, and to bring about the destruction of this Edomite captivity. And so when you go back to Mark chapter 3, and it says that the strong man has to be bound first. You have to bind him before you go into his house, and the Most High is putting the Spirit on them to bring forth this MOTB, the hour of temptation. And the elites are going to think it's a plan that's going to give them more control, but ultimately it's going to, this order out of chaos, that the order's not really going to come. It's just going to remain in chaos until Yahushua comes back to destroy the society. The banking elites are bringing order out of chaos, and when the chaos gets to a peak, just as they think this is the time for us to now establish our order, they're going to go ahead with it, and very quickly, soon after that, Yahushua is going to return. So I hope that was edifying. I'm going to leave it right there. All praises to Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushai, Bahashim Rakah Wadash, and until next time, Shalom.